Alright, so this is going to be the first video I've done in like 3 years, and it's going to be a lot different from the last one. Last time I did makeup and I talked a lot about how really self-deprecative I was and how I was trying to get past that. Well, I'm better. I've gotten past a lot of it. I still feel that way in a very latent, buried sense, but I'm not going to let it hold me back or push me to a place of fear like it did before. So today we're not going to be talking about makeup. I'm going to be discussing some of my favorite poems, or one of them is a hymn, and how they interconnect and how they inspire me and they give meaning to my work and how they affect my view of the world, honestly, and just how they're beautiful and different and unique. So this may be better suited to a podcast format, but I don't know how to do that. So I am recording on the front-facing camera of my Android phone on a selfie stick stuck into a pencil jar with a post-it note, so I'll remember to look at it as opposed to just staring at myself like I'm doing right now. So I can try to make this at least somewhat engaging, even though it's definitely going to be a shaky, weird format. But it's something, and that's what matters. So like I said, we're going to be discussing creative ideas and how they inspire me and how they could inspire you, and the beauty within the work and what it does and what you could make it do for you and what I've made it do for me. And this is going to be cut free, so get ready for all of the the odd sounds, and me messing up while I'm trying to read these poems. So the first thing is the creation hymn, or the Nasadiya, from the Rig Veda, and that is one of the worship books for Hinduism, the faith of the predominant faith of the Indian people. There was neither non-existence nor existence then. There was neither space nor the sky which is beyond. What stirred? Where? Was there water, bottomlessly deep? There was neither death nor immortality then. There was no distinguishing sign of day nor of night. That one breathed windless by its own impulse. Other than that, there was nothing beyond. Darkness was hidden by darkness in the beginning, with no distinguishing sign. All of this was water. The life force that was covered with emptiness, that one arose through the power of heat. Desire came upon that one in the beginning. That was the first seed of mind. Poets, seeking in their heart with wisdom, found the bond of existence in non-existence. Their cord was extended across. Was there below? Was there above? There were seed placers. There were powers. There was impulse beneath. There was giving forth above. Who really knows? Who will here proclaim it? Whence was it produced? Whence is this creation? The gods came afterwards with the creation of the universe. Who then knows whence it has arisen? Whence this creation has arisen? Perhaps it formed itself, or perhaps it did not. The one who looks down in the highest heaven, only he knows. Or perhaps he does not know. What I find really interesting about this piece is the sheer lack of certainty. It's so different from the Christian creation myth of Adam and Eve and of the Garden of Eden, because everything is so certain. He created the world in 7 days, in this specific order, with these specific names for everything. He made darkness in this moment. He made light in that. Whereas in the Rig Veda, it's all about the potential in uncertainty. All of these things could have happened, or they might not have. It's asking and begging its practitioners and the people that believe or that feel connected to this work to question, to be creative, to look past what these words say to what the potential is in the world, in your work, in the way you play with words. It's a question. There are no answers here. And that lack of edict, that lack of control, that freedom that this work gives is beautiful. And it's, once again, like drawing the comparison between the story of Adam and Eve and the Nasadiya is unreal. Because, once again, so formulaic, so 1, 2, 3 on the Christian side. So regimented. So dictatorial. So not free. And then you look at something like the Nasadiya, and it begs you to question it. It begs you to look through it more. And I think that's really beautiful and that's really powerful. It begs you to look behind the things that are known and how you would look at something, and to find the beauty in the mundane and to find the uncertainty in that as well. Which brings us to the second poem. It's from Song, which is going to be backwards because I don't know how to flip that, by Brigit Pegeen Kelly. This is my favorite poem of all time. And it's called Dead Doe, and it's for Huck. The doe lay dead on her back in a field of asters? No. The doe lay dead on her back beside the school bus stop? Yes. Where we waited. Her belly white as a cut pear. Where we waited? No. Off from where we waited? Yes. At a distance, making a distance, as we kept her dead run in sight, that we might see if she chose to go skyward, that we might run too, turn tail if she came near, and troubled our fear with presence, with ghostly blossoming, with the fountain's unstoppable blossoming, and the black stain the algae makes when the water stays near. We can take the gilt-edged strolling of the clouds, yes. But the risen from the dead, no. The halo-y troubleshooting of the goldfinches in the bush, yes, but in season, kept within bounds. Not in the pirated rows of corn, not above the winter's pittance of river. The doe lay dead. She lent her deadness to the morning, that the morning might have weight, that our waiting might matter, be upheld by significance, by light on the rhododendron, by the ribbons, the sucked mint, loosed on the air, by the treasonous gold-leaved passage of season. And you, from me, child, from me, from... Not mother, no. But the weather that would hold you, yes. Hothouse you to fattest blooms, keep you in mild unceasing rain, and the fixed stations of heat, like a pedaled note, or the held breath, sucked in and stay, yes, stay. But no, not done. Can't be. The doe lay dead. She could do nothing. The dead can mother nothing. Nothing but our sight, They mother that, whether they will or no. They mother our looking, the gap the tongue prods when the tooth is missing, when fancy seeks the space. The doe lay dead, yes, and at a distance, with her legs up and frozen, she tricked our vision. At a distance she was for a moment no deer at all, but two swans. We saw two swans, and they were fighting, or they were coupling, or they were stabbing the ground for some prize, worth nothing, but fought over so worth that, worth the fought over glossiness, the morning's fragile tubed glory. And this is the soul, like it or not. Yes, the soul comes down, yes, comes into the deer, yes, who dies, yes, and in her death twins herself into swans. Fools us with mist and accident into believing her newfound finery. And we are not afraid, though we should be. And we are not afraid as we watch her soul fly on, paired as the soul always is with itself. With others, two swans. Child, we are done for in the most remarkable ways. Every time I read that poem, I hear it differently. And going back to the Rig Veda, it talks about the uncertainty of certainty in this natural world. Because they're seeing a dead doe as she's taking her son to school in a field. There's so much possibility in that moment. There's so much analogy. There's so much more than that dead doe. There's so much more even than the potential of the two swans. There's so much more that could be, that may never be, that could already be happening. And saying the dead can mother only sight is so accurate because it influences us regardless of if it's something we're seeing that's dead, like in a place where we can physically see it, or if it's influencing our spirit or influencing our future or past perceptions or potential perceptions or the way we see the world in that moment. And that language of uncertainty is so clear in the conversational tone of the poem as well. These moments where there's the offshoots of, yes, the uncertainty even in her writing, in her telling of this story. That's powerful because on the page, it looks like offsets. Like, obviously it's really hard to see because it's going to be flipped. I'm going to try to figure out how to fix that. But it allows your brain to have this conversation within the moment too, to try to figure out and piece together her train of thought, her thought process. And that's really beautiful, especially when we're talking about uncertainty of language and uncertainty of mind and uncertainty of spirit and uncertainty of reality. And that kind of brings us into our last poem, that uncertainty of reality and uncertainty of how to deal with something more emotional than something that's physical or spiritual, like we've seen the physical in Dead Doe or the spiritual in the Nasadiya. This is the last thing I'm going to be reading is dealing more with emotion and interpersonal relationships and how we cling to conversation and we cling to different aspects of reality, but we also fight against those things so hard. It's an epistolary poem that I wrote myself. And the reason I wanted to read a poem that I wrote in this context as well is, of course, this is being put out in April of 2020, and that's during the COVID-19 quarantine crisis, where there's no gatherings. Just this past winter, I started twice, kind of, 1.5 times, I read my poetry at a open reading, and I wanted to continue to do that, and it was one of my big major goals for myself, just to have that confidence to put it out there in a context that is really scary to me, speaking in front of people. Obviously I can't do that right now, but I want to get this practice as well, and I want to capitalize on this time that I'm given. And that's another reason I wanted to touch on uncertainty today too, is we are living in such uncertain, crazy times, and there's so many different ways to perceive this. It's terrifying, and people are dying, and the stress is unimaginable. But at the same time, for me personally, it's a gift, because I'm here. I'm more present in my life, in my body, in my acts of creation than I've ever been in my life. And that is a gift, and it's beautiful, and I'm so thankful for this time, and I'm so thankful for this uncertainty that allows me to create in a way that I've never had the opportunity, or I've never taken advantage of any opportunity to create before. So once again, just the theme of uncertainty is real, and that's where I'm coming to this epistolary poem called Dear Mariah. Between 5th Street and Montgomery Scott Avenue, on my bluegrass couch, I feel fairy lights caress my cheeks as I lay. I write you countless words spent, rose dug in my soft brown pile carpet. Seashells shred realities, cotton muffled quiet. Rules break to remind me to pause. Mountain ridges chipped into the paint on nails mark the bloody skin cell graves of sheets, broken headstones of pinky promise loss. Please remember again to pause. No sticker-scented kisses on the tomb of his face. Soil now planted with residual echoing seeds of doubt. The last burial place of my innocence. The last burial place of your... Now let me be clear. One lonely day, 9 whole years, did not set our worth or hold your words. I won't answer for you. What has passed here? Pause. Please press pause. I see glass mirrors, more than just red-tinted pain. Antenna trace my shame, easing the disgust, right? Left by eraser-tipped fingers, wrong. Pulling one hair out at a time to weave a friendship bracelet of corrected memories. Dissociative yips try to break the red brick road right through the world of soft, moist, dark, home of worms, sarcophagus beetles, and me. Maggot-cradled fears. Yes, you. Maybe it's I who forgot to whisper, to scream, to yes. No. Yes to pause. P.S. Tarot sold me the hollow point truth, spread on the honeywood floor. My car illegally parked in a spot marked for the pastor. I ripped more hope from the pages we tossed to a metal-woven bin. Now, in this piece, I tried to employ some of the same things that Brigit Pegeen Kelly did with the conversational tone. Like, there were moments that were essential to the poem, and then there's moments of conversation with the poem, signified mainly by like the moments of yes and no. And that brief conversation about 9 whole years, whether it be 1 second or 9 whole years, And it's just the uncertainty of emotion and the uncertainty of how we can deal with loss and how we deal with pain, and the uncertainty we find in ourselves when our roots are ripped up and spread thin and just gouged from our souls and gouged from us and gouged from all that we are and we could be and we have any potential to see even in the future. And we have to shift our perceptions of ourselves, and how I had to shift my perception of myself after a really craptastic relationship went awry. And this poem was written at a time when I was spending a lot of time with my friend Mariah, and she was going through a divorce, and there was just so much of that uncertainty, so much of that questioning, so much of that self-conversation and potential self-loathing that really, it forces you in the same way that Nasadia or the dead doe, it forces you to look at the different skews that reality can take and how you react to those and how you then choose to interact with them, regardless of if the reality you're experiencing is quote unquote the reality that others see, is irrelevant, because it's your perception is what matters in that moment. Your perception is how, obviously this goes without saying, is how you can better yourself or let yourself fall to pieces. And I am so prone to falling to pieces that hearing other people, whether it be in an ancient world, in a foreign world, of course, to me, like that's written in the Nasadia, or from just another person from this time period's perception of how reality can interact, react, and just be so unreal. It gives me hope, and it gives me freedom, and it gives me just empowerment and validation to look at the world and exist in the world the way only I can, and feel no guilt or self-consciousness about that. And that's what I tried to impart in my poem, was not only this sense of uncertainty, but this sense of a different way to see how life's moments can interact with you and can interact with others. For instance, like the line where we're talking about a friendship where I'm talking about a friendship bracelet woven with individual pieces of our hair. Like, that imagery is powerful because it takes two mundane things like your hair and a friendship bracelet, which I mean is incredibly common, and it's something that you do as a child, and it ties that into your adulthood in such a beautiful way that, like, these intimate moments of sharing your secrets and sharing your pain can also be a beautiful sense of bonding. But that beautiful bonding is not absent of the pain of ripping out your hair or the intricate moments of weaving a bracelet. It's all so interconnected, but it's also so easy to tear apart. And it's just the dichotomy that's life, man. It's what it comes down to. The uncertainty and the dichotomy of life. And capturing those moments in poetry can be so beautiful and powerful. And I just wanted to share that today and share the beauty of existing in non-existence, as the Nasadia would say. And thank you for watching and listening to me ramble senselessly in bad lighting on a front-facing Android camera. And I'm going to do it again, regardless of if anyone watches this or not. If you liked it, let me know. If you didn't like it, let me know in the comments down below. Because I'm going to continue to do this. And it's not for anyone else necessarily, but if you get something from it, It's amazing. It's more for me to push my boundaries. Thanks. When fancy seeks the space, the doe lady. Damn it. Cat! Evil, evil. Satan. Still continue. Maybe. After this brief commercial message from our friendly neighborhood brat. The gap, the tongue, prods when oh god, we're gonna do that again. All right.